How do we compute diluted earnings per share? To compute diluted earnings per share, we would examine convertible preferred stock, we will examine convertible debt, we will also look at stock options. It is worth noting that what we are looking at is diluted earnings per share. If we are getting started with ordinary shareholders, what is the earnings available to ordinary shareholders? The earnings available to ordinary shareholders is net income minus preferred dividend. Remember that the interest that will be paid to debt holders will have been deducted before we get to net income. However, the dividend paid to preferred stockholders would not have been deducted. So because of that, in order to get the earnings available to ordinary shareholders, it will be net income minus preferred dividend. Then here, we should have the weighted average number of outstanding ordinary shares. Remember that it is per shares. Still moving on to convertible preferred stock. So what is the income or earnings available to convertible preferred stock? The earnings available to them is called preferred dividends all over the shares. So this will be shares issued if the convertible preferred stock are converted. Still moving on. So now we are moving to convertible debt. So for convertible debt, what is the earnings available to convertible debt? That is interest, but remember that interest is tax deductible. So it will be interest times 1 minus t. Then here we should have shares issued if the convertible debts are converted to equity. Still moving on. We still have stock options left. Remember that from the previous slide, we agreed the examples of stock options include warrants and employees' stock option. If you are granted a stock option by your firm, it is obvious that there will be currently no income until you decide to exercise your right. So if you decide to exercise your right, then we will have this. That will be shares issuable from stock option. So I'm sure we should agree with what we have here. The whole of this is earnings available to ordinary shareholders all over the weighted average number of shares relating to ordinary shareholders. This is earnings available to preferred stockholders all over the shares issued if the convertible preferred stock are converted. This is the earnings available to debt holders all over the shares issued if convertible debts are converted. And we should be fine with this. So the formula for this is AMP, that's average market price minus exercise price all over average market price times N. N is the number of shares issuable from exercising the options. We will discuss the logic behind this in subsequent slides. But before we move on, it is worth noting that it is not enough for you to commit this to memory. You need to be able to use the formula. We will discuss how to use the formula on the next slide.